What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on? What's happening? It is Monday, July 28th, 2025, year of our Lord. And I have a flight to catch today. I got a flight to catch, ladies and gentlemen. So I am going to be doing the show from a different state, a different city. But it doesn't mean that the show don't go on. But I had to get into the studio. I could have did this from home and then just headed straight to the airport, which was one of the reasons why I'm doing the show like a half hour earlier, half hour, 45 minutes than what we usually get into. But we still got a show to do. And so I had to plan accordingly. What's going on, friends? Anton, happy to be home. I am K Cooper. Listen. I've only been able to get home for a couple days. I had to go to Vegas and I had to go to California, and then now I got to shoot back out today. But I was able to get home on Saturday morning and then spend a couple days getting things together, running around. I had an opportunity to go and check out some real estate. I can't wait to reveal that to my bag chasers because we got the auction coming up, which also reminds me, I've been seeing a lot of conversations about people in Michigan getting angry at people from Los Angeles and people from New York buying property and moving into Michigan. Never thought that I'd be having that conversation. I've been seeing videos of people that are angry because they are purchasing property here, which I warned you guys that was going to happen in the Midwest. Pretty sure that Cleveland is next, that they are purchasing property in the Metro Detroit area for 30, 40, $50,000 over asking price. I couldn't. Yes, back to better internet, Connie Harris. It ain't nothing like that good internet. I get so much more work done so faster with that good internet. I heard that that's what's happening. So I'm gonna do a little research. I done seen 4 videos of people talking about it, and people are getting mad because they saying that Michigan natives is getting priced out of the market. So yeah, man. Yeah. We gonna get to the Traverse City Walmart stabbing. Yeah, man. They are coming and they doing different stuff. People in Tennessee is mad too. They're gonna do Michigan how they did Texas. Well, I'm already prepared for it. So I feel bad for the regular people if that's true. But then again, I have to do a little bit of research. But what's going on, family? Nothing like that good internet. Connie, let me tell you something before we get started with the show. Do you know that great internet, not good, great internet probably expedites or makes you about 50% more efficient than you were had you not had that good internet? I kid you not. Good internet probably saves you about 50 to 60% of your time. I realize that. And you don't realize it until you got to go and get that other internet. It's different. Man, I can't believe how much more efficient that I've become. But gotta hit the road again. Last thing, I will say this. I believe that whatever it is that you do and whatever state that you're in, the grass is always going to be greener on the other side from your perspective. So I'll give you an example. A person that travels a whole lot like myself, that kind of lives on a plane, I really like being home. And don't get me wrong, I really like visiting other places, and I am very appreciative of my lifestyle. You'll never ever hear me complaining. But people that are road warriors can't wait to get home. And my uncle, he used to do that. He was a big time executive for a major automaker back when I was younger. And we used to be so fascinated. I was fascinated with this movie called Up in the Air because it basically detailed how I wanted to live my life. I wanted to live my life on the road, going to city. And I even got to the point when I was younger and that I was okay with not ever having a home. I was okay with not ever having a home. And that largely came because I just was so obsessive with just being in the air. Being in the air is this movie with George Clooney called Up in the Air that I loved. It's one of my favorite movies. Go and check it out. And we used to talk to him, and he used to travel a lot. And I would say by the time he was about 5, 6 years in, and he had even had a place up in Canada because, he had to go back and forth to another headquarters that was over in Canada. And we used to ask him, and he was like, man, I love being home. I love being home. But it's funny because people that are home love traveling, and people that travel have to travel a lot of times, not all of the times, they love being home. And so that's just like a kind of like a parable of life. I see different videos that I've been reacting to that I'm gonna be dropping today, for example, of women that say that the minute that they lost weight, or the minute that they discovered something new, then they wanted to leave home. They man was boring after they lost weight all of a sudden. So now you want to be in the streets. The chick that's in the streets, she want to be at home. I see situations where guys that are solidly in relationships with good women somehow, some way. Y'all get on the internet, and then all of a sudden she ain't good enough for you no more because the internet got you with this crazy perspective, and we've taken conversation so far and combined it with Instagram photos that all of a sudden the people that you've been with for a long time, they're not good enough, and you was just fine because they matched your energy. You was a reflection of the thing that you was with. And so all of a sudden, they not good enough no more. And the people that's in the streets is secretly, they acting like they having a good time, but they lonely and they want to be with somebody, and they trying to find some connection. So, it's a tale between two perspectives, right? And the best way for you to solve for that is, I personally believe, to always make sure that you stay aware but stay grounded. It's awareness and being grounded while also continuing to work on good character. You can have conversations online without necessarily jumping off the bridge and becoming an incel. You can pursue a degree without making that your identity, ladies, and you lead with that in every single conversation when you talk to a man. You can like men and want to be in a relationship while at the same time not necessarily making it the center of your universe, to where you can have some balance and still love the person that you with while at the same time also having a passion project. we have to learn how to have temperance and balance. And somewhere along the line between these extreme conversations on the internet, we've forgotten that. But just my little soliloquy early in the morning. So we probably not gonna do 3 hours today. I'm gonna just tell y'all that right now because again, I have to go and jump on a plane as soon as I get off the Millionaire Morning Show. And head over to a different city. I'm not gonna tell you what city that I'm in. You probably will find out once I hit that city. But I gotta jump on a plane today, so we probably not gonna do 3 hours. But I did want to make sure that I did a live show because anytime that I do a live show, I think that is much better than pre-recorded. Pre-recorded is a last result. Live is better. Even if I could pivot and do it live on a Saturday, if I miss it during the week, I think that that's better than pre-recorded. Pre-recorded is the last result, but we'll do that too if we need to. Shout out to my dog, Mike, that dude. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down, big dog. I appreciate you too, K. Cooper. TM Speak said, did you see the mob of black people beating the white people in Cincinnati? Yep, I seen it. And I have a reaction video that's coming up for it this afternoon. It is scheduled to be dropped. I did see it. I did see it. Boy, y'all really are trying to show y'all butts this summer. This summer, 2025, y'all been showing y'all a-holes. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. And part of the reason why I like doing a live show is because I think that it creates a better environment for us to have conversations. I can interact with the audience. The audience is my co-host for the show. Chase Barnes says, happy Monday, AD and Peeps. I'm glad to have you back and yo, happy to see you. Yeah, happy and back in the yo. Happy to see you. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, but we're going to take the show back on the road through Thursday, and then Thursday we're going to be back in the studio. So I'm only going to be gone for a few days. So we got to travel this week, we got to travel next week, and then we got to travel the week after that. And then hopefully we back with some stability for the next couple months, all right? So that's the goal. That's the goal. Thank you to everybody that hold us down. Thank you to everybody that continues to add value into the show, but we got a lot to cover. And I hope that you've hit a like for the algorithm. If you have not already, we have a Patreon live this week. All right, preferably Thursday. I'm thinking that it's Thursday. Granted that I'm able to get back in town by Wednesday afternoon. Thursday is when we will have our Patreon live. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And the subject will be based around content creation because it's changing rapidly. And you guys need to know how to monetize and what the new standards are and what the new strategies need to be based off of things that I've proven myself. I am not a gatekeeper. I'm going to give you everything. After that, we go into real estate because I got to show y'all the progress on a lot of the properties and what my budget is and how you can leverage some of the same information for the upcoming auctions in your counties and in your states. All right. Lots of money to be made, lots of information to be shared. If you are not a bag chaser, if you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And then last but not least, last piece of housekeeping. Somebody was telling me this weekend, they said, Anton, you're going to have to start planning. I said, planning for what? They said the next Patreon meetup. I said, why you say that? I said, the next Patreon meetup is when we're going to hit 1 million subscribers on the Anton Daniels channel. They say, yeah, your subscribers is not slowing down, so you might as well start to get the plans together. So I am going to start planning for that, and I would love you guys' insight on where you want to celebrate next. Make sure y'all take weather into consideration. I'm thinking probably somewhere on the West Coast. West Coast, that way we got a stability in the weather. West Coast within the next few months, next couple months. I don't know. West Coast. I like the West Coast. I'm thinking on the West Coast. What y'all think? Let me know. I'm going to put a poll up in the Patreon, all right? So anyways, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm not focused on the numbers, but I did say that that's when I would have a Patreon meetup. What is the numbers? Let me double check real quick. And I want to give y'all enough lead time just in case you need to come from out of town if you want to come and celebrate and kick it with us. All right. Where we at? We crossed 750 today. We crossed 750. Yep, we crossed 750 today. So, and again, I'm not tripping off of the numbers. Yeah, this is going up. Ain't nothing I could do about it. And that's 2 days behind the last 28 days. So, yep, we crossed 750. So we 250 away. I imagine that if we keep the same pace, we'll be there within the next 2.5, 3 months. So what is this? July, August, September, October? October in LA? Y'all want to make it November just to be safe? All right. We'll figure it out. All right. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go ahead. If it's in San Diego, you'll be there. You're definitely going to be at 1M by the end of the year. Yeah, I'll probably be there by the end of the year. All right, y'all. Let's get started with the show. Again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for continuing to take the journey with me. You know that you are my heart, and the chat is my co-host of the show. We're a little early, but we're going to get to it. All right, y'all. Let's get popping. Road to 2 million your car. Well, let's focus on the 1 first. We're not going to focus on the 2. We don't want to get ahead. We don't want to do what Tracy McGrady did when he played the Pistons and he was in Orlando and they was up 3-1 and he was already looking to the second round. We don't want that to happen to us. You know what I'm saying? We have Mehmet Okur and the Pistons. They came through and slapped that A. Slap that A. All right, y'all. Let's get started with the show. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I have to start off with something that is very tragic. All right. I do know that a lot of people like to say that anything that happens in Michigan automatically ties to Detroit, but it doesn't. This is a Walmart situation where there was a stabbing. There was a stabbing at Walmart where 11 people were stabbed in Traverse City, Michigan. Traverse City, Michigan is a place that I think is gorgeous. It is beautiful. It is a small town off of Lake Michigan, probably a little bit closer to Chicago than it is to Detroit. It's about a 4-hour drive from Detroit, about 4 hours from Detroit up to Traverse City. And yes, Walmart does have locations in Traverse City. All right. It's a pretty nice town. But there was a very tragic situation that happened in Traverse City. And I want to bring you guys up to speed on what's going on up there. So again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And this is the latest on this situation.
I'm Camille Mary. Coming up, we're learning more about the man who allegedly stabbed 11 people at a Walmart near Traverse City.
I'm Ingrid Kelly in Detroit. A church family.
We don't want to get into all of that. We don't need all of that.
Random and say the 42-year-old man acted alone here. Fox 2's Camille Mary joins us live with more on the investigation. Camille, I understand law enforcement just gave us an update. What did we learn?
Yeah, they did hold a press conference earlier today, and really the million-dollar question right now that they still don't have the answer to is why this happened.
The suspect, who has been identified as 42-year-old Bradford James Gilly of Afton, Michigan, was arrested and transported to Grand Traverse County Jail, where he will remain pending.
Where is he from? Where did they say he was from? Let me rewind that really quickly.
The suspect, who has been identified as 42-year-old Bradford James Gilly of Afton, Michigan, was arrested and transported to Grand Traverse County Jail, where he will remain pending formal charges and arraignment.
Arrested just minutes after he allegedly
I don't even know where that is,
11 people at a Walmart in Garfield Township near.
I have no idea where that is. I've never heard of Afton, Michigan. Has anybody heard of Afton, Michigan before? I haven't. Maybe you have. It's a lot of small towns and a lot of small cities all across this place, all across the United States of America. Very foreign to me. Never heard of Afton, Michigan, but Afton. Never heard of it before.
Traverse City. The first 911 call came in at 4:43 p.m. on Saturday. The first sheriff's deputy on scene arrived at 4:46 p.m.
At the time of the deputy's arrival, multiple citizens, including one who was armed with a pistol, were confronting the male suspect in the parking lot and preventing him from harming further people and leaving.
Well, there's your answer. Somebody said nobody had a pistol. There's your answer. I asked myself the same question because yesterday when I first started covering this story and I dropped the video for it, that was my very first question was, because Michigan is a stand your ground, CPL holding. We don't have the same extreme liberal views, even though occasionally we do flip blue. I don't know how they flip blue in 2020. However, we here now. We're red, right? And so we go back and forth. Here's the thing that I was asking myself. I said, bro, are you telling me that nobody in Michigan, when everybody in Michigan has a gun, everybody in Michigan, I'm telling you, bro, they don't announce it. It's not always going to be front and center. It's not necessarily that thing. They say that everybody, a lot of people be having a pistol. Now, I also understand that people may not necessarily be strapped inside of the Walmart because who expects for it to, you'd be going to the grocery store and to get a couple pair of drawers out of the left section that a man with a knife, a flip-up knife, would just start stabbing people. A 42-year-old man will start running up and stabbing people. So now I find out that somebody had a CPL, a concealed pistols license, and they had a gun. And here's my other question. All right. Now, I'm not advocating for death. But here's my other question. How did this guy get arrested to be able to tell the tale? That is correct. They said most of the people that he attacked actually was like in a wheelchair or it was somebody that, because it ain't a whole lot of guys that's just randomly going to Walmart. Most of the people that's going to be in Walmart are people that went in there so that they can go and take care of some business and all of that, right? Again, my question is, I don't know how this guy is still alive to tell the tale when you get to stab 11 people and they didn't stop him until he got to the parking lot. That is wild to me. You can go and stab people and you can live to tell the tale. These type of people, let me watch my rhetoric on the Millionaire Morning Show. Y'all trying to figure out the why, and they're going to investigate and get it out of them, and y'all going to use all of these police resources and detectives, and the FBI is in on the case and all of that. We could have fixed this right in the parking lot. You said because a Marine held him at gunpoint. I don't really think you understand what I'm saying here. And I try to not have to say it without saying it and say it by saying it without saying it, if you know what I mean. What I'm saying is, how do you get to the point to where if somebody is a Marine, right, or a regular citizen that has the right to protect themselves and other people in a situation where people are getting stabbed, how do you get to the point to where you're holding him at gunpoint? Because my first instinct, and this is the thing that they told us inside of the class. All I got to say is this is what they told us in the class. When I took my CPL class, they said this. Do anything you can to escape the situation where people are being harmed. However, if you ever find yourself in a situation to where you must, and you absolutely have to pull out your pistol, then you have to be prepared to truly use it, if you know what I mean. Not to stop somebody, not to do a warning, not to do none of that. If you ever get to the point, this is what they told us. Now, all I can do is go by what they told us. If you ever get to the point to where you have to pull out a pistol, then you have to be prepared to use it. So if I'm pulling out, I'm not saying, hey, hold up. Now, I understand that the Marine might have a little bit more discipline and training than me. I just go to the gun range. That's all I know. Pull out and shoot. Pull out and shoot. Pull out and shoot. Pull out and shoot. If it's 11 people that stabbed, I don't know how you're not going to be the 12th to go down. That's all I'm saying. How big was the stabs, you said? Oh, okay, well, Donovan, let me get out my tape measure and figure it out. Stab wound, 11 by 3. Does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Any stab is too big as far as I'm concerned. Hey, he said, how big was the stab? Let me figure it out. So the blade was a little dull, and so it was a little sharp at the end. One stab is one too many. You going down. Y'all want to see how big the stabs were, how deep they went? Well, we going to figure that out after we get him out of the coroner's office. That's all I'm saying.
In addition to sharing the mugshot of the suspect, investigators released a photo of the knife they say was
It was
used
that
in
big. That stab.
the attack.
The weapon used was a folding knife with a 3.5-inch cutting.
Here's the thing, Chip the Great. You says the Marine, that's exactly what it is. The Marine knew how to control the situation. I think I know better than that particular Marine. The fact that he was able to control the situation, I know how to control it. You don't know how to control that situation? I know how to control the situation. I'm just saying. In my opinion, from where I'm from, it's not about controlling the situation. I don't think y'all realize that 11 people got stabbed. 11. 11 people. Why is it that we always have a debate? Even when it seems, when I come in here and it almost seems like I think that this is going to be clear cut. We all agree definitively. The only thing that we've ever agreed with recently that I can think of off the top of my head is white people being able to self-segregate. And I was surprised. I was like, hey, y'all think that all white people can self-segregate without no problem? Everybody was like, oh, we don't care. They can do what they want to do. That's their freedom. That's their right. I said, wow. So we all agree on that, but we can't agree on the idea that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10-step commandments. What? And then he took 11 just for good measure. That I'm going to be like, hey, man, you stop right there. Don't go a minute further. I don't even think it's worth talking about at that point. You got to 11. One person. Then you go and run. Two people. You over there by the checkout kiosk. 3. Stat 4. Who else? Oh, going through the house. 5. 6. 7. Yeah. I see a woman on a wheelchair. 8. You over here. 9. Now, you know people are running, right? Chase you out to the parking lot. 10. 11. That's a lot of people, bro. I don't know if y'all listening to what we saying. We didn't say 2. We said 11. At 11, it ain't no control in the situation. The situation was out of control. That's an out of control situation. What are you talking about? The Marine knew how to control. The situation was out of control. Everybody bleeding. People in the house with knife wounds. Do you know how hard it is to go and chase down 11 people? I can't catch 11 people in tag. I don't even know if it's 11. Have y'all ever played tag? Have y'all ever played, you know what I'm saying? To get to the spot and all of that. You know how hard it is to catch 11 grown folks? Even if they big. You know how hard it is to catch 11 of them? And they all screaming and it's pandemonium and it's chaos all at the same time. And you at Walmart? Bruh, you know how hard it is to catch 11 people? 11 is a lot. That's a lot of people. You'll be lucky to get 2 people in tag. And we're all in a confined space. 11? That's bro, you know how hard it is to get 11 kills in Call of Duty?
in one sitting, bro, you're an elite level sniper. You've been playing all day, every day for 7 to 8 hours a day for the last 2 years in order to get 11 kills. You know how hard it is to get 11 kills in Sharpshooter, Rainbow Six? You know how hard it is to kill 11 people in GTA? That's a video game. It's harder in real life. Dude, this dude went in there, man, he's not going to make it out of Walmart. He got to go. He got to go. No, seriously. You said not in their wheelchair, AD. I heard he stabbed somebody in a wheelchair. Once the wheelchair person got hit, you know how hard you got to run to catch me once I see you stab 10 people and I'm going to be the 11th? Had to be all white people. Oh, my God. They all tripped. Everybody tripped like Jason, like the movies.
Blade.
Of the 11 people stabbed, one of them was a Walmart employee. They range in age from 29 to 84. The majority of them are 65 and older.
I'm happy to report one patient has been treated and released. Now we have 10 remaining patients, 2 who remain in serious.
Y'all said stabs are silent, not the person that's screaming. Y'all sounding crazy, bro. What have y'all been smoking this week? Have y'all been smoking this week or what?
Position, serious condition, and the others have progressed to fair condition.
Gilly is being charged with 1 count of terrorism and 11 counts of assault with intent to murder.
And Gilly will be arraigned possibly as early as tomorrow or maybe Tuesday, and we will hopefully learn more about this investigation when he is formally arraigned. Reporting live, Camila Mary, Fox 2.
Y'all crazy, bro. Somebody said the Marine tracked him down inside of the parking lot. You gone. You a dead man running. Even if you tell me, all right, I'm about to put my hands up. I'm going to do the whole state a favor. I'm going to do taxpayers a favor. I'm going to do all of that. I'm doing all of that. I guess we all different. And this is why God has made us different. This is why God has put it on our heart to be a completely different people. We are all different, and that is okay. There's nothing that you can tell me, nothing that you can show me that actually give me some logic and reason how he's able to tell the tale and he's only been subdued. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Heck of a way to start off the show this morning, huh? Let me read a couple of super chats. Yeah, I seen that tag competition. It's hard to catch them people. Eddie says, laughing my off taken care of in the parking lot. That's hilarious. Facts. David Miller says, you are my inspiration. I aim to be like you when I graduate CMU with my comp science degree. Any advice? Specialize. Don't just get a computer science degree. Don't just get a literature degree. Don't just get a liberal arts degree, whatever it is. Specialize, all right? Preferably in something AI related. We're going to talk about AI later on today because it's crazy out here, but you need to really specialize. Do not just get a general computer science degree. Go into cloud infrastructure, AI machine learning, something AI related, anything, but specialize. David Brown says if he was able to get 11 people, maybe OJ did do it. Facts. I guess we can talk about that now that OJ ain't here no more, huh? Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, all right? Let's get over to the next part of the show. I love Karen Bass. As my adopted home, my new adopted home over in California, not Los Angeles. Not Los Angeles. California is my new adopted home. You guys will be my little cousin. All right. To see what is happening in California, Gavin Newsom trying to run to be president of the United States of America. Karen Bass just absolutely fumbling. Both Los Angeles and California is oobs and gobs in debt when it comes to the actual budget and their budget crisis and all of the lack of the police officers and police force. And while they so busy focusing on Trump, they should be focusing on their own streets. Residents is getting, followed home from the store in order to get robbed. You got street takeovers, and nobody gets the police to stop them. You got homeless people doodling on the streets, and it's just lawless. It's just lawless. You know what the best thing about Los Angeles is? You know what the best thing about Los Angeles is? The airport. The airport, Los Angeles airport, is awesome. It is one of the best airports in the country, miles ahead of Atlanta. I love Los Angeles. I love Detroit's airport. I love Salt Lake City. Los Angeles probably has the best sky lounges. Their Delta Sky Lounges, you overlooking the planes, and they recently redid it, is gorgeous. The best thing about Los Angeles is the airport. That's the prettiest thing about Los Angeles, and the mountains. You can see the mountains. It kind of look like Salt Lake City depending on where you are. But when it comes to the crime and the looting and polluting, you guys are second to none. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
A growing trend of street takeovers leading to stores being looted. Just last night, 2 stores.
Ain't no way in hell you gonna sit here and tell me that ATL's airport is better than Los Angeles's. Use a lie. Use a lie. You're a lie. You're a lie. LAX is 10 times. Tell me that you haven't really been to LAX, or maybe you only go to a certain terminal without telling me you only go to LAX. Is no way in hell that you're ever going to sit here and tell me that Atlanta's airport with that dumbass tram, or whatever they got, that's hardly ever working, and you generally got to walk 10 miles when you're late. If you have a layover in Atlanta, if it's anything more or anything less than an hour and 15 minutes, it's a strong possibility you're going to be late, buddy. If you have a layover in Atlanta, usually there is a lot of layovers in Atlanta because it is Delta's biggest hub. If you have a layover in Atlanta and it's anything less than an hour, chances are you're going to miss that flight, big dog. You're going to miss your flight. It's over. The thing to get over to your next gate, it may not be working. You're going to see them doing the hustle in the middle of the airport. Is no kind of structure inside of that joint. Atlanta's airport is absolutely horrendous, and there's nothing that you're ever going to tell me that ever will change my mind. And it's not that it's so bad, it's just the way that it's set up, and it's congested, and it's tight, and it stinks sometimes. Ain't no way in the world you're going to tell me that Atlanta's airport is better than LAX. That's not true. Ain't never been true. And I done been through all of these airports all day long, all year long.
One in Compton, another in South LA, broken into by thieves. This comes just a day after an AutoZone was looted in South LA after another takeover. Fox 7's Gina Silva joins us now live with reaction from the community. Gina.
Well, Susan, street takeovers used to be all about the stunts and showing off, but lately they're becoming far more damaging for businesses.
Certain people are taking the opportunity to just, take what they shouldn't,
You're looking at the aftermath of a street takeover that spiraled into looting. Sneakers and merchandise litter the ground, surrounded by torn boxes and shattered glass. Thousands of dollars in goods were stolen from the warehouse shoe sale store at Wilmington Avenue and Del Amo Boulevard.
It's hard for a business to recuperate after that because it's like,
y'all stealing from warehouse shoes? That's where y'all stealing? Y'all stealing from warehouse shoes where they got all of the discount Nikes. So y'all stealing, where else y'all stealing from? Ross? That's what they doing? Y'all just breaking in stuff for the sake of breaking in stuff at this point. Y'all not even logical in what y'all just went and broke into warehouse shoes for no reason. Y'all just stealing from warehouse shoes now? With the big WSS at the top with them basic Nikes? Come on, fam. Y'all out of control out there in Los Angeles. Warehouse shoes. Ain't even nothing in there to steal. Yeah, Team Jordans. That's all they got. They ain't got nothing in there but Mexican Jordans. Yeah, Burlington Coat, Mexican Jordans in there. Good God. That's all they got in there is them new FAs. Them Hefes. Y'all got some Skechers? Y'all went and stole Skechers too? Y'all just grabbing stuff. You can't even take but one or two pair at a time because your arms is full, and you got to go and find your size, and you got to find the right ones. When you go into the Nike store, right? When you go into the Nike store, you know how hard it is to actually find a pair that you like? You got to walk up and down every aisle. So if you're not going to the store for a specific drop, which that's what we used to do. Now, I don't even go to them type of stores no more. But if you go into the Nike store and you're walking up and down the aisle, do you know how difficult it is to actually find a decent pair of shoes that you like in your size? And y'all just in there just stealing. Shoes, style, selection is the slogan.
Avenue and Del Amo Boulevard.
It's hard for a business to recuperate after that because it's like they see these things happening and it's like no one's here to help them.
It wasn't the only business targeted in the early morning hours.
They got all their mail in there. I think they're cooked. And so who knows how much they took.
Edgar Retana showed up at the Metro by T-Mobile store at South Figueroa and Slauson, hoping to set up a phone plan, only to find the doors locked. The store was shut down after burglars broke in early this morning.
Very inconvenient since I was trying to go in.
Sheriff's deputies tracked down 3 suspected looters after discovering a stolen package from the WSS store. Contained a GPS tracker. All 3 were taken into custody. And
Hold on. Let's not skip past these culprits. We need to make sure that we stereotype correctly.
A GPS tracker.
What did I say that the lady told me at Walmart last week when I was over there? I was in Ontario, California. You guessed the second part. You thought I was in the other part. What did I tell y'all that the lady told me? She said, it was Denise. Shout out to Denise. She said, hey, Anton. She said, baby, I know they keep on trying to say that it's black fatigue, but they always do them long. I don't know if it's hard opening up in their mouth or whatever. If their gums is too big, if the saliva is starting to dry up or whatever. And she said it's the Mexicans. It's Latinx and Mexicans that's stealing the draws in Walmart. I'm telling you, I want you to talk about it on your show. I want you to talk about it. Then the other lady came by. Hey, Dara. She said, my name is right here on my name tag. What is it? I said, that's Denise right here. Oh, hey, Denise. I said, baby, you go ahead and walk your drawers up, and I'll talk to you later. Make sure you tell the people on your show. I said, okay, let me do a little bit of research. So, it's you guys. Huh? It's the essays. That's right, Chuck Buck. It's the essays. So, you guys think that you can bring your ricers over here to the United States of America. Huh? You want to bring your ricer vehicles? You want to bring your NAS? Yeah. Your Honda Civics? Your Toyota Camry? Your Nissan Zs? You want to bring them over here, and then you want to come and steal Hellcats and do burnouts and Camaros? Huh? You want to stand out there with your tattoos and your khakis and your Converse, and you want to come over here and you're stealing out of the... I knew it wasn't no black people that was going into them stores. I knew it the minute that I seen the store. I said, ain't no black people in there. Black people steal big stuff. We don't steal little stuff no more. We've learned that if you're going to get caught for stealing, you got to steal big. You got to go big. We copied off of the white collar crimes. and we started doing PPP loans and scamming and panhandling and saying peace and Pan-Africanism and using black women to continue to contribute into our coffers and telling people that we was going to do whole schools. We upgraded. Y'all not there yet. Y'all not there yet. Us black folk, we steal differently. If we gonna break into a store, we gonna break in and steal Apple products. Black people, we steal different. We steal whole ATMs. We do it just like they did on the barbershop movie. We do PPP loans. We promise black women that we gonna build schools for their kids. We go on the Breakfast Club, and we gonna sell you a course. That's what we gonna do. Now, white people, they course selling like hell. White people sell e-commerce courses. Black people, we sell credit repair courses. White people sell e-commerce. So let me tell you how to stand up your product, baby. And you sell this, white label it, we're gonna get you rich. Look at all of these cars in my garage. Ty Lopez is still selling stuff. We don't even know what he sell, but he's still selling it, and he going country to country. He get blacklisted in the United States of America. He goes to a different country. He gets blacklisted over there. He goes and get a different mansion over here, and then he keeps rubbing his hair, and he says, I've been on a farm. This is a lesson that I learned when I was a mentee on a farm, and he went from Lamborghini in his garage to making sure that listen, guys, I think I'm going to go farm life. And so they move to different countries and they sell a new product. They go country to country and sell new products. All right. Black people, we haven't graduated to that yet. We haven't did the farming. We haven't done none of that. So we going to figure that out. We follow behind white people. Mexicans follow behind black people. So now y'all stealing Sperry's and Adidas. We've learned from that. I knew immediately when I seen this that it wasn't black people that was stealing. I said, that's Hefe and them. That's Hefe and them. That's Jorge. Jesus and Jorge is out there. Y'all just breaking in to make it difficult. Got the tattoo on your calf. I know it. Y'all see, if we gonna profile, let's profile effectively. You always got a tattoo on your calf. And the women always got somebody's name on their neck. Hefe. Pretty when they 18, expired by the time that they 27. Hefe right here. You be like, oh, she cute. She a baddie. By the time she 27, I'm trying to tell you, if y'all want to know, listen, if we gonna have a real can I be on the national news, please? Oh my God. 18. Woo, look at her. She bad. She a baddie. Hey, do you know where that girl at that I met when she was 18? I'm coming back for. That's you? Girl, what happened to you? Yes, me. I'm still the same person. And she not even pregnant yet again. Let's get back to the story.
All three were taken into custody.
Look at them. Look, hold on, wait. Look at them. They got their Infinities.
Contained a GPS tracker. All three.
That's one. That's two. That's two.
Were taken into custody.
There's three. That's three. There he is. That's three of them right there. Those are the ringleaders, and they got all of their little hefes that's behind them.
And 2 vehicles were towed from the scene.
That's the type of truck that's the truck. Black people don't drive those trucks. White people don't drive those trucks. We're all different here in the United States of America. Black people, we like Hellcats and we like old schools. Chevelles, Buick Regals, all of that. All of that. Give it all here. Chevelles, Buick Regals, 96 Impalas, 04 Marauders, Monte Carlo SS's, and we like that new stuff. We gonna get an Escalade as the new car. We gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, we gonna try to get us a Rolls, but if we can't get a Rolls, we gonna get the Escalade. They don't give us the Escalade, then we gonna try to get something we gonna mix it up. You know what I'm saying? We never gonna get the new Benz. We gonna get the old Benz. We gonna get the Maybach from 2 cycles ago. All right? That's how black people do it. Then we gotta have an old school. Even if it's not fully functional, we're gonna put some 36s on it most of the time, and it's gonna be the end of it. White people, they like monster trucks and Fords, baby. Yeah. Jack that sucker up. It's gonna look just like the Monster Jam. We're gonna go mudding. We're going mudding. Yes, we are. White people love pickup trucks that's jacked up. Hefe and them, they always got a Chevy Sierra with the low rider, and they put some LED lights at the bottom of it, and then they spin out. It's always single cab, not double cab, single cab. 2-seater, preferably a bench. Make sure that they put their speakers in the back of the truck so that everybody on the outside can hear it. Nobody in the inside can hear it. Boom, boom, boom. I said, that's Hefe and them. We in Mexican town. That's Hefe and them. You see Hefe? This nigga got his speakers in the trunk and is rattling his car, and it's all the way to the ground. And he keeps circling, playing some Spanish music. That's how we do it. We just different here in the United States of the Americas. That is who we are. And it's not our fault. That's just who we are. They always got a cigarette. I don't even know where they sell cigarettes. Cigarettes in their top ear, right here. And a wife beater on. And a wife beater is clean. It's always a clean wife beater.
Evangelinos say something has to change. They say too many street takeovers keep turning into looting sprees, and it's local businesses that are paying the price.
It's all over the city. It's everywhere. It's not just here. It's everywhere.
So again, 3 suspects were arrested, but far too many are on the loose. If you know any information about these lootings that happened early in the morning, contact the LAPD or LA County Sheriff's Department. Susan?
That's all y'all. That's all y'all. So police in Los Angeles, Karen Bass, FBI, Tom Homan. That's them. That's not us. That's them. They wearing Sperry's. They go steal Converse. We don't do that. We do crime differently. You know? Worst case scenario, if we can't get none of the above, black people, we gonna get us a Cutlass. Caprice Classic or a Cutlass. All right? Cutlass Supreme, preferably Caprice Classic or a former police car so that we can make a bad imitation. This is what it is. That's life. That's life. Make sure you guys hit a like for that. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I need to do a best of. That's what I need to do at a Millionaire Morning Show. A best of. Need to do a best of, because I can't keep giving y'all the sauce. I'm not going to keep on helping all of these comedians with their jokes, and then they're going to steal it, and next thing you know, they're going to be doing all of the cars. Yeah, man, we all drive different cars. If I see any of y'all on y'all specials stealing my jokes, me and you going to have a problem. Me and you gonna have a problems. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. No, they don't get those type of Lexus. They get the baby Lexus, the IS 250. And the black women ain't no different. White women, black women, they all different. They all different. Maybe I'll give y'all some insight on what they drive. Black women, they like Altimas. They love Altimas. I don't know what Nissan was doing, how they marketed it to black women and said, y'all all need Altimas. Nurses, Altimas. Black women, Altimas. Women that do hair, Altimas. 100% Altimas. White women, especially when they get to 30, they all drive minivans. And usually it's a dent in the back. I don't know what it is. It's almost like when they sell the minivan to the white women, when they leave in a dealership, they kick the back of it and go, That's how you can tell the difference between the poor white women and the white women with resources. The poor white women, usually they drive minivans. Also, Indians, they love Nissan minivans. They love Honda Pilots. They love all of that stuff, all right? Indians love it. Asian women, they love Macans. Porsche Macans and Macans. They love a Macan. I don't know what it is. Asian women love them. Japanese, Chinese, for whatever reason, they all love Macans. Macans, all of that. You Arabic men, y'all love having high car notes on cars you can't afford, and then you put them on Toro in order to try to rent them out because you can't afford them, but you still want a stunt. And you always got your hair like Radamez from Juice. Radamez, Quiles. I know, I've been around this earth for a little bit. I could teach you a thing or two. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. AD needs a comedy tour. Coming to a city near you. If I had the time, if comedy paid the amount that live streaming did, I would be doing comedy instead of doing that. What up, P. Shanks says, hey, Anton Daniels and the Millionaire Morning Show. What's happening? High Tolerance says, good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers. They're not even coming away with shell toes. They don't. A bag full of them Fugazi soft-toe demos, all drugs. 2-wheel drive, no 4-wheel drives. Best of the Dusty segment. I need to do a best of. I really do. The name of my tour is going to be called Stereotyping. Profiling and stereotyping with accuracy. That's what the name is going to be. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Starter pack activated. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all ready to get into the next segment? That's what they drive, and that's how they drive it. Driving it like they stole something. Except for the Hefes in them, you can tell when it's not stolen because they drive slow. Put a lot of lights inside of it. And the lights coincide with the music. So when the bass hit, that's when the lights go to the different color. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. What we got next, y'all? I got a flight to catch. I can't keep joking with y'all. We got to talk about the business side of it. Trump, all right? Trump, he did a deal with the EU. And some people are saying that the EU got fleeced. I say that Trump is the greatest businessman of all time. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Are y'all not a part of the Patreon? Y'all need to make sure y'all tapped into the Patreon. Let's get it.
This is probably the biggest deal ever reached in any capacity, trade or beyond trade.
It is.
It's a giant deal with lots of countries because, as you know, Ursula represents a lot of countries, not one country. It's not easy for you. It's because a lot of very different countries, great countries, but some are strong with cars, some are strong with agriculture, some are strong with both, right? You have a lot of different factors. So we're going to do the following. The European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. So they're investing a large amount of money. You know what that amount of money is. It's very substantial, but they're going to invest an additional $600 billion. They're agreeing to open up their countries to trade at zero tariff. So that's a very big factor. Opening up their countries, all of the countries will be opened up to trade with the United States at zero tariff. And they're agreeing to purchase a vast amount of military equipment. We don't know what that number is, but it's the good news is we make the best military equipment in the world, so sort of you have to do that. I mean, until somebody tops us, which is not going to happen. We're way ahead of every other country in terms of the quality of the military equipment. You saw that recently.
You know, dude, do you know how good you have to be able to sit in front of the European Union and talk about how you just fleeced them in front of them, while at the same time touting how great you are and how much better you are than them? Do you know how great you have to be to make people submit in front of you and do a press conference with them standing next to you and saying, yes, they have to sell us, or they have to open up to be able to, do business with us? Y'all got to open up y'all country so that we can sell cars there. Y'all got to invest $600 billion more inside of the United States of America. That's basically a gimme. You're going to have to buy at least $750 billion in energy from the United States of America. The United States is becoming an exporter instead of an importer. We are not taking in other people's products more than they are taking in our products. We're allowing for them to sell on our soil and forcing them to take our products, our cars, our steel, our military equipment that we want to sell to them, not the stuff that we would use, but the stuff that they can use that we're no longer using, that we still want to use as profit. Do you know how big of a deal this is? Let me tell y'all how big of a deal it is. One of the things that countries do is they protect themselves against American ingenuity, and so it seems as though they are better than us, when in reality, they develop a majority of their technology here in the United States of America, which is one of the things that China has always done, and then they take it, and then they try to improve upon it, and then they oust whatever the companies are that they partnered with inside of the country. So largely, if you go to some of these other countries, including Japan, we recently did a deal with Japan. We're going to talk about China in a minute. But what happens is they protect themselves against us, against our pricing power and all of that, by only allowing for their citizens to use their products, something that we should have been doing a long time ago. But throughout the years, basically what has happened, we has made deals that is in our favor, but then over the last 40 years, it's turned into other countries' favor, and we haven't updated it. It kind of reminds me of the child support court, family court laws. We created it at a time when women didn't have rights, so that women can be protected if they just so happen to find themselves on the other end of the door and a man kick them out the house. Well, you can't just kick them out with nothing. Them your children, big dog, you got to pay for them. Now, we have leveraged feminism and all of these rights in the LGBTQ community and civil rights in order to tie them to the federal government, instead of it being a help for them to be able to bridge the gap to get themselves together. We have basically used it as a resource and a tool, and it's become used for negative instead of positive. And so we're righting our wrongs when it comes to trade with other countries. And I want y'all to make sure that y'all kept that same energy. When you said that Trump wouldn't figure it out, when you said that these trade deals was going to be bad, that tariffs was going to raise prices in the United States of America, where? Where are you paying more? You're paying less than when tariffs hit, while at the same time, we still have tariffs in place. What people also don't realize is that we're still tariffing them at 15%, and they don't tariff us at anything, and that's a part of the deal. Remember when y'all was complaining, oh my God, we got to go clear off the shelves of toilet paper again. We got to go and get all of the products out of the dollar store. My daughter won't be able to get $2. Instead, she gets $1. Remember when you said that? Gas prices is going to be crazy. Inflation is going to be insane. Inflation is at a record low. More money coming into the United States of America than ever before. Running up a bag. $27 billion in additional resources that is coming in on a weekly basis, some estimate, as far as trade is concerned. We killing it in every single facet. Getting world peace everywhere except for Russia, that is. Getting world peace. Running up a bag, and now you got the European Union sitting in front of you, and they just got to take the L.
In Iran, and you see that, unfortunately, you see that often for all the wrong reasons, right? So those things are 750 billion, 600 billion, opening up the country. We are agreeing that the tariff straight across for automobiles and everything else will be a straight across tariff of 15%.
Anything they ship into the United States of America, no matter what it is, automobiles across the board, whatever, 15%.
So we have a tariff of 15%. We have the opening up of all of the Europe.
And we don't pay anything. I'm sure y'all don't know that. We don't pay nothing to ship to them. They agree to buy more from us to export into their country. And they opening up their ability to be able to take more of our products so that we can export it over to their people. And we charge them to send their stuff over here. Dog. Bruh. He is the greatest president of our lifetime, bar none, and we're only about 7 months in.
European countries, which I think I could say were essentially closed. I mean, you weren't exactly taking our autos, you weren't exactly taking our agriculture, and then you would have smaller things, but for the most part, it was closed. And now it's open. It's open for a company.
This is why you don't need women at the negotiating table. They give it all away. They give it all away. We came in like a side dude that you thought was going to be your step baby daddy, and we ate all of the children's fruit snacks, and we selling you our products. We the weed man. We the weed man side dude that is selling trees to you and your husband while at the same time getting everything from you and making money at you at the same time. That's all we are. That's the United States of America in a nutshell. We the weed man.
To go in and do a good job with it. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like it. And we
make
will,
somebody have to sit there.
Very importantly, they'll be investing a lot of money, but the military is a big number, but that's one number we're not determining. It's going to be whatever it is, but they're going to be purchasing hundreds of billions of dollars worth of military equipment. They're very important. They're going to purchase $750 billion worth of energy. So that's going to be great. And $600 billion worth of investments into the United States over and above what they have. So, and I think that basically concludes the deal. I mean, those are the main factors. I don't think there are too many other factors, other than we're going to get along great. And we have a great relationship now with NATO, which is largely the same. I mean, not exactly, but pretty close, right? Largely. And with NATO, as you know, they're going up to 5% from 2%. And the relationship is very strong with NATO. So I just want to congratulate you. I think it's.
I just want to congratulate you on taking more of my products and doing this deal that's going to benefit everybody, right? I want to congratulate you for solidifying your deal that you are doing here with the United States of America to ensure that we still have a relationship. Otherwise, we would have to cut you out of the package. You want some of this good stuff? You're going to have to make sure you call your dogs off and get Avon in line. Otherwise, we going to have to cut you out of the co-op. That's what Proposition Joe told the Stringer Bell. We want to march our product into them towers. And so you get the good stuff. No chopped, no none of that. Now everybody know that the West Side got better product than the East Side. And so you got fiends coming all the way over here to the West Side because you East Side is out there putting out that nonsense. And so in order for us to continue to give you the good stuff, have you with the product, then you're going to have to call your dogs off. And if you can't call your dogs off and get Avon in line, then we going to have to cut you out of the product. You got that, Stringer Bell? That's what Avon had to deal with. And Avon came back to Stringer and said, you run things the way that you want to run it until I get home. Until I get home.
It's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games and maybe not making a deal at all. I think it's, I'm going to let you say, but I think it's the biggest deal ever made. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Ain't nothing like shaking a woman's hand while you busting her down, right?
Yeah, thank you. We have a deal. We have a trade deal between the two largest economies in the world. And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. It's 15% tariffs across the board, all inclusive. The investments Mr. President just described, that going to go to the United States and the purchases over there. Indeed, basically the European market is open. It's 450 million people. So it's a good deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Was tough negotiations. I knew it at the beginning, and it was indeed very tough, but we came to good conclusions for both sides. So again, congratulations and many thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's nothing like winning and being congratulated for it, being fed. This is like, let's say, for example, that your man worked at the automotive shop, that he had an automotive shop, right? And you go over there and you bust it out. You tear out the frame, his girl. And then she say, you know what? I'm going to get my man to get you some new tires, some new brakes, rotors, everything. He going to make sure that he take care of your car. So you take your car in and then he do it for free. What? No, man, listen, man. My girl spoke highly of you. And you know what I'm saying? This one, it's on the house. What? No way. No way that you're going to take. I insist. I insist that I pay because this is just too crazy. This is crazy. No way that you are going to give me tires, rotation. You know what I'm saying? You're going to make sure that you rotate my tires and you're going to give me balance and you're going to make sure that I got stability and you're going to fix the whole thing? This is crazy. Hey, tell Susan I said what up, man. Tell her Big Anton. Big Anton said what up. And you take a picture with him. Hey, big dog, can I get a photo with you? Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Do you have any questions, please?
How did you come to a deal so quickly? Did the European Union come there and get it?
I think we both wanted to make a deal. You said something that is very important. It's going to bring us closer together. I think this deal will bring us very close together, actually.
Same thing that he told your girl. This deal is going to bring us closer together.
Sort of, it's a partnership in a sense, but it's a very good point, and it's something that's very important.
But was there one issue that needed to get over the hurdle?
No, we had 4 or 5. No, not pharmaceuticals. I mean, we're going to be, as you know, a lot of companies are coming into the U.S., and that's unrelated to this deal. But it's, I think we this didn't just start today. We had a meeting. I wasn't sure. I said 50-50. I think you probably felt the same thing. But this started months ago, this negotiation. So we knew pretty much what we were getting into, and we were able to make a deal that's very satisfactory to both sides. So it's a very powerful deal. It's a very big deal. It's the biggest of all the deals. It will be the biggest of all the deals. So we're very honored to have done so, and your staff has been fantastic, and they worked together very long.
Your kids, they're very subservient. They went and got me a plate, got me the big piece of chicken, all of that other type of stuff. So basically, the Trump administration was masterful in their negotiations with the European Union. In summary, they have to buy at least $700 billion worth of energy from us so we become an exporter. They also have to take in our products, which includes our cars, which would help the manufacturing industry and all of the other industries that are impacted from manufacturing, including the steel industry and the aluminum industry here in the United States of America. They've also agreed to invest over $600 billion inside of the United States of America. That's separate from all of the exporting and also the $750 billion that they agreed to buy in energy. And then also, in summary, amongst other things, they have a 15% tariff that we're levying on any product that comes over from the European Union inside of the United States of America, while we don't pay anything. I think that's an excellent deal. I think that is an incredible deal. That is a phenomenal deal. And this is the thing that we voted for. Y'all, listen, I know the Democrats are pissed. They angry. Oh, they angry that we can't give away the country. They angry that people that's not supposed to be here is being deported. They are upset at the idea that we're not giving away all of our tax dollars to other countries for propaganda and making everybody else rich. They are so sad that we are achieving world peace and that we are focused on continuing to do big deals instead of all of this silly stuff that we was doing over the last 4 years. And prices is low, and inflation is low, and we making sure that we gonna turn the country profitable, and we still have tariffs on other country bringing in a record amount of revenue. I don't know what else you want from them. What else do you want? What else do you want from the Trump administration? Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. You know what I'm saying? Daily Discourse Arturo says, AD, you just described 95% of the whole family. Accurate. I know. Stereotypes are earned. They are not given. David Simpson says, Trump might as well rub his hands like OG Birdman every time he meet a head of state. Oh, we not done. We going into the next thing. We're going to definitely get into that. Jason A-Team says, all the siphoning of the USA is over. Trump is bringing all of that money back home. America is about to pay off debt and get rich. This is an exciting time to be alive. The energy is a big deal. That's a fact. Wesley Turner says, Trump sunned the entire world. Ty says, AD out here kicking dirt on the dusty, and I'm here for it. America, we in the building. David Simpson says, Trump taxing countries friend and foe and told the IRS hold his Diet Coke. Yeah, we gonna run that bag up. We running that bag up. P. Shank says, Anton, the EU will add 15% tariff to the price of the product, or will they absorb the 15%? They are basically going to be paying 15%. A 15% tariff on anything that they ship inside of the United States of America. So basically, for us, these students, you can put 15% on the price of whatever it is that they ship over into the United States of America to go into our pocketbook. All right. That's the price of doing business with us. High Tolerance says, AD, you mentioned making a more concerted effort to buy U.S. goods. Check out the Crafted with Pride directory. I begin my purge and I'm still going. All right. I'm going to have to check that out. Thank you, High Tolerance. Trump came out. The fact is that Trump came out like daddy is home is still funny. Shout out to Chris Cunningham. And Covington says engineers in the energy field are going to be making bank. Listen, there has never been a better time to run up a bag here in the United States of America. And I tried to tell y'all that we are at the inception. We are at the very, very beginning of what is going to happen inside of the United States of America. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications because Trump is not done now that the EU deal is done. China is up next. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
U.S. Trade delegates, we are.
I'm
Aren't they? They're not very appetizing, are they?
The meat? No, the meatballs here were meatball-colored meatballs, but they were smaller than I was expecting. They were like the size of a dime. Came in a very heavy sauce and with some very heavy potatoes with them. It was very filling. I enjoyed them a lot, but you don't need to eat for like a day and a half after you eat those.
Okay. Should we have waited to the end to talk about what can you tell us? And then we won't have to talk about
what you guys have seen, right? Yeah, what we know is what you guys have seen. We saw the Chinese delegation, the Vice Premier He Lifeng arriving, and then just moments after that, we saw Treasury Secretary Bessent arrive. We saw a lengthy greeting with the Prime Minister of Sweden as Secretary Bessent shook his hand and had some conversation for a few moments out on the street, and then all sides proceeded indoors. They're here at the Prime Minister's residence in Sweden, and the idea is they're going to spend about 2 days behind the scenes. What they're going to come up with, we don't know. We saw Jameson Greer, the U.S. trade representative, on television earlier today, really lowering expectations for these trade talks today, saying maybe they can get an extension of that August 12th deadline. And that seems to be sort of like the bar for these talks right now, is if they can get that extension, that'll be seen as at least a base hit for these talks, and then maybe set up some talks later in the fall between Xi Jinping and President Trump, Joe.
Yeah, it's coming.
So let me break down to you guys how negotiations work. All right. And I've done this before. So shout out to the bag chasers. And I've talked about it on this channel. But I want to make sure that I give y'all some insight so that y'all will be able to make better decisions. And maybe you can read The Art of the Deal. Y'all should really get Trump's book, The Art of the Deal. It's a really great book. But this is how negotiations usually work. You have to make sure that you get big deals and big concessions, which is one of the reasons why the European Union deal and the Japanese deal and every other deal that they've done so far. And you want to take your time in getting the right deal struck. Well, why? Because it sets it off as a precedent and the blueprint for how you are going to structure other deals. So, for example, China does not want to see what they are doing over there at the European Union because now they have to follow in that similar blueprint. And because the United States of America is the one that has all the leverage. We have all the leverage. Anton, remind them of how we have all the leverage. The reason why we have all of the leverage is because of you guys. Oh, I'm going to break it down again from a C student's perspective. It's because of you. Well, what does that mean? We are the biggest consumers in the world. We buy everything. We finance everything. We make sure that we spend every dollar that we can in order to make sure that we please other people and show off. And because of that, we need all of the products. We need all of the goods. We need all of the services. And we love it, especially the liberals. Especially the liberals. Liberals love to basically suck off other countries. They stood with Iran. They stand with Ukraine and Russia, depending on which side of the fence they're on at that particular time and who's the president. Oh, they stood with China. China. They stood with Canada. They stood with Mexico. And so what they are advocating for on the consumer side, which they don't even realize that they're actually playing into the conservative or Trump's hands, is that gives us more leverage and buying power because those are huge exporter nations, meaning that they ship all of their products over here in order for their businesses to be sustainable. And so because we say, well, listen, we're not buying any more of your products, it puts a huge hole on a country like China who is trying to prop itself up with shiny buildings and subsidized cars. Listen, don't think for 1 second that these Chinese vehicles that they are making for cheap, that is subsidized by their government in order to export it to the rest of the world, and we not allowing for that to happen here in the United States of America because Trump is smart enough to make sure that he protects our manufacturers, that for 1 second is covering up what we know in the economic field and in all of the stock market and everybody that understands exactly what's going on in China. We know that their real estate market is collapsing. And so what they do is that they leverage their exporter capabilities in order to prop up the real estate side of it, because while they are a communist-ish company or country, they're not actually generating revenue unless they take advantage of other countries. And so what you see other countries doing and why they are so involved in Africa and why they are so involved in other countries, and you see them and you say, well, why is it so many Chinese people taking over Africa? Why are there so many Chinese companies popping up over in Africa, and Africa just gave away everything, right? We're going to give you these crazy loans, Africa. And in turn, we're going to build roads for you, Africa. And Africa went, so many different places in Africa just went head over heels. Okay, Chinese, we'll take everything from you. And just sucked everything off. Now they own you. They own everything. They own the infrastructure. They own the logistics. They own the export, import. And so instead of them bolstering their own country with their own products, what they basically did was sold out. And so now the Chinese gave them cheap products and bribes and a couple little dollars, and y'all politicians sold y'all out over there, similar to what the Democrats was doing to us here in the United States of America. And now they own everything over there, and they're using their resources and their infrastructure in order to boost the fortunes of their own country. And any industry that you had is basically being subverted over into whatever it is that they're exporting over into your place. And so you sold your soul for 15 cents on the dollar because you had some crooked politicians and you had some temporary influx of money that came into it, and now they own you. Kind of sort of the same thing that happened in Chicago streets. This is an economic lesson that I'm giving to you. Same thing that happened in Chicago streets. The minute that you got into a bind, and oh my God, it's the crisis. Now they own your streets for 75 years. You sold it to them for $1 billion, and they're going to make $1 billion at least per year for the next 75 years. And you can't even run a parade down the street without getting permission from an outside resource that actually, from an outside country that owns the streets of Chicago, own every parking meter, own every parking spot. You gotta pay a fee to put a parade up. Crazy, right? And so the name of the game is ownership. But when we finally got a president that stood in office and said, well, listen, we're going to use the leverage that we have against you in order to have a better trade deal. Now China has to come to the front of the congregation. The EU had to come to the front of the congregation. Canada had to come to the front of the congregation and stand down. Mexico had to come to the front of the congregation. You know why? Because we are the biggest consumers. And when you buy everything and people are looking to sell to you, they'll do anything in order to maintain that relationship. Anything to maintain that relationship.
Fast and furious, though, after Japan last week and then in the EU, it would be, I don't know whether it's more likely or less likely with the pace that things are happening.
It's a really good question, right? To what extent does that EU deal yesterday influence what's going on here in Sweden with the Chinese today? You've got to think that the economies of the U.S. and China are so big, and this set of talks is on its own trajectory, that it's kind of got its own momentum. But everybody here is aware of what happened yesterday in Scotland. So clearly, people are paying attention. For the Chinese perspective, this is transformational for their economy. And so I think they'll proceed very cautiously here. And no one is bracing for any major breakthroughs today or tomorrow. But we're here on the scene. If they get a breakthrough, we'll let you know.
Yeah. I was struck. Those communists drive some nice.
If you guys want us to take you seriously, we invite all conversations. We love having the conversation with you guys. We think that the chat is the backbone of what we do. You got to get a profile picture or else we're going to think you jerking off in your socks. You got to get a profile picture or else we're going to think you're jerking off inside of your socks. That's just the way the game goes, baby. That's the way the game goes. All right. Let me see this real quick. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications. I'm going to read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff. We're going to really deep dive into the money going forward. All right? Let's see what y'all got out here, what y'all want to say. What do you want to say? We got the Q show tonight, too, just to let y'all know. We have the Q show tonight. Poor Legacy says we'll be signing up to the Patreon soon. All right. All right. Don't miss out. Chris Cunningham says China is doing the same thing in Afghanistan. They're doing all it over the world. They're literally doing it all over the world. You're 100% correct. All right. All right. Let's get into it. Let's spend 15 minutes on this next subject. This is something that we are talking about inside of the Patreon. I did a live stream where I broke down the capabilities of it and how you can leverage it in order to get a huge bag. I'm going to be doing the next update on it because there's some new things that came out that I want to show you guys I've been working on. But AI is a huge deal right now. People are saying that they can't tell the difference between what is real and what is fake anymore. And I agree with them.
Decades of sci-fi.
Well, let's come back to this one. We're going to come back to Sam Altman. Sam Altman is the CEO and the person that is spearheading what is going on over at OpenAI, which is the owners and the founders of ChatGPT. But this is one of the things that dropped that I thought was interesting before we go over into his conversation, all right?
The so-called AI slop all over the internet these days.
Angela Carter here live.
Is getting less sloppy.
Disaster. Just kidding. I'm not real.
With hyper-realistic AI-generated sham news clips circulating, often presented as a joke.
Dana Brooks reporting live from Ocean View.
But what's becoming not so funny, how easily reality can be confused with the fakes.
White House unveils plan to train bald eagles as patriotic aerial surveillance units.
Can you tell the difference?
Well, President Trump meets today with another global leader as his administration promises more trade deals.
The one on the left is AI generated, while the right is real. The launch of Google's VO3 earlier this year, shocking users and the industry with how realistic the model is, plus how it can be paired with audio generation.
Reporting live from Clearwater Beach, where an unidentified...
And as the lines blur, the AI clips of fake reports or newsworthy events that never happened, even reaching the Oval Office. With President Trump posting this provocative AI-generated video of former President Obama being arrested at the White House. In many ways, it's an obvious example of misinformation or parody, easily debunked. But what happens when it's not so obvious?
We used to say that seeing is believing, and that's no longer the case.
It's making life hard for Emmanuel Saliba, a content verification expert and a former NBC News reporter. She says the tech is getting so advanced, the fake videos are routinely being spread across the world and reported as fact.
During that gap between an event happening and authorities or media having any sort of confirmation, that's where we're seeing all of this AI-generated content start.
And the scary part about this is that even though we may, that as content creators, I can tell the difference right now. So far, I can tell the difference. I see guys that are subscribing to AI OnlyFans models or AI Instagrams. I said, what in the world is going on? Y'all really do like this that much? Like, y'all don't know how to separate the real world from the fake world? I think that it's going to continue to get more advanced. It's going to continue to get better. And that's the scary part about this whole thing. And so one of the things that I went over inside of the Patreon is how to more effectively write prompts that generate the type of, videos and all of this type of stuff and what you can use it for. But I think that there's a fine line between it. And I know that Trump was doing executive orders in order to try to rein in some versions of AI. I also know that Alphabet, parent company of Google and YouTube, is making sure that they get a rein on it because they want real content creators creating content on a platform. But it is scary. It's a very scary thing to think that people are going to be creating and generating AI, and that's the only thing that some people can't tell the difference between, because y'all send me stuff sometimes in an email, and I actually blocked a couple people in my email today because it's some of the stuff that y'all sending me. It's like, are y'all vetting this, or are you only looking at the title and sending it to me, because when I go and I look at it and I'm like, it's not even real. And once I got it like 3 times from the same person, I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just block this, because you're sending me 67 videos every single day, and it's not even relevant to anything that I talk about. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see some of this stuff, I see some stuff on X, formerly known as Twitter. I seen some stuff on TikTok the other day, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not even what happened, or can't you see that that's not real or whatever? You know, and people are not able to see the difference. And so that's when it can get dangerous, because it's so easy to impress people. It's so easy to create a narrative. It's so easy to do something in particular. And so y'all gonna have to be a little bit more mindful of how things are playing out, because it's not gonna be the best thing for you. Here is Sam Altman speaking specifically about his fears for AI. Even though he's not going to stop innovating in it, this is what his fears are.
Sci-fi telling us that AI is eventually going to kill us all. And since you know more about AI than arguably anybody in this room, I just want to ask you, what does keep you up at night? What are the things that you worry about when it comes to AI? And how do we prevent those things that you worry about from coming true?
I think there's 3 sort of scary categories. There's a bad guy gets super intelligence first and misuses it before the rest of the world has a powerful enough version to defend. So an adversary of the US says, I'm going to use this super intelligence to design a bioweapon to take down the United States power grid.
Which is one of the reasons why there's always going to be an arms race. You're never going to get anybody that says that they're on the good side, because everybody thinks that they're on the good side. You're never going to get anybody that's on the good side to stop developing, because in their mind, or their justification for it is going to be, well, what if our enemies get a better version of it, so we have to stay ahead of it? Which for us, from a job perspective, especially when it comes to cybersecurity and machine learning and so on and so forth, that is why you want to focus your studies into going into the innovative long-term technologies that is going to give you a bag and keep you employed. All right. If you just think that you're just going to continue to do the same thing, you're going to go into liberal arts and it's going to be okay, it's not okay. They're not going to need you. Marketing, done. So many different subjects is going to be done. They just selling y'all these courses, and they giving y'all these curriculums, and they wasting your time just to say that you got a piece of paper at this point. All right. But the fact of the matter is, there's always going to be an arms race for technology, to stay ahead of technology, to make sure that you're outpacing your enemies, all of this stuff. And this is why there's always going to be a heavy investment in AI.
Break into the financial system and take everyone's money. Something that would just be hard to imagine without significantly superhuman intelligence, but with it becomes very possible. And because we don't have that, we can't defend against it. So that's broad category 1. And I think that the bio capability of these models, the cybersecurity capability of these models, these are getting quite significant. We continue to flash the warning lights on this. I think the world is not taking us seriously. I don't know what else we can do there, but it's this is a very big thing coming. Category 2.
You said healthcare will always be a great trade. Let me tell you something, baby girl. I don't think so. Listen, anything that you think will not be disrupted will. Anything, look, there are doctors, there is technology that is being used to basically have AI and machines assist, air quotes lightly, assist doctors in surgeries, assist nurses, so on and so forth. If you don't think that the healthcare industry is one of the number 1 industries that is going to be impacted by what happens with AI, you are sadly mistaken. You are 100% off. Listen, there are people trying to figure out how. Have y'all seen the La Quinta? Have y'all seen the La Quinta video where people are checking in and they're not even checking in with regular hotel staff no more? Let me see if I can find that. Y'all haven't seen the La Quinta, the hotel chain, and how they checking people in now? Everything is going to be disrupted in life forever. Forever. Let me see.
Okay. Maybe one room key or two.
This is crazy. Hold on. See if I can share my screen with you guys real quick.
Okay. You need one room key or two room keys?
Two, just in case I lose one.
Yes, I will just make this for you. Just help me with your signature, what it says guest signature. Let me just process your room registration.
I know y'all can't hear it that good, but
registration form. Please note that we have a strict policy of no smoking, no pets, and no visitors allowed in any of our guest rooms. Signature must match the one on your ID. Using your finger, please sign where it says guest signature when you see the form on the screen.
All right, sir. I will just process your room receipt, which contains all the property.
what's stopping AI? What's stopping AI from taking that job in that position right there? They have basically gotten rid of, or they're trying to get rid of, and they're testing it by having remote workers be the one that check you in, and then they can issue a card in order for you to have your room. And now they're getting rid of agents, right? So what's stopping an AI assistant from being able to assist you from checking in and issuing you another card for your room? What's stopping them? The Yotel in Miami is completely AI ran. What's stopping them? What's stopping them from being able to completely... I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Somebody said, couldn't you just check in from the app? You absolutely can check in from the app. Some people want physical room keys. What I believe, power line workers, 100%. What I believe, again, and I said this before, is that the new luxury is going to be things that are manual. Being able to talk to people, being able to have, you're only going to have a concierge, a hotel check-in staff member. Those are going to be at the higher end hotels. At the regular hotels, at the Holiday Inns, at the La Quintas and stuff like that, in order for them to stay in business and in order for them to compete, and they're going to continue to try to shave costs, they're going to be implementing a version of this, and they've already been training us to do it. You can't go to the airport. You can't go into a McDonald's. You can't go into a something at the airport, a restaurant at the airport, without multiple people lining up so that they can go to the screen to order their food. And we've trained ourselves to not want to be around people, not want to have human interaction, not want to talk to people. Everything is going to be disrupted. Everything. The thing that you got to figure out is, how can you make money from it? What service can you provide and take advantage of it? But let's get back to the Sam Altman conversation.
There's the sort of broadly called loss of control incidents, where that's kind of like the sci-fi movie. The AI is like, oh, I don't actually want you to turn me off. I'm afraid I can't do that, whatever. And I think that is less of a concern to me than the first category, but a very grave concern if it came to pass. There's a lot of work we and other companies do on model alignment to prevent that from happening. But as these systems become so powerful, that's a real concern. And then there's the third one, which I think those first two are sort of easy to think about and imagine. The third one is, to me, more difficult to imagine, but quite scary. And I'll explain what it is, and then I'll give a short-term and a long-term example. This is the category where the models kind of accidentally take over the world. They never wake up. They never do the sci-fi thing. They never open the pod bay doors. But they just become so ingrained in society, and they're so much smarter than we are. And we can't really understand what they're doing, but we do kind of have to rely on them. And even without a drop of malevolence from anyone, society can just veer in a sort of strange direction. When I was a kid and Deep Blue, that AI system built by IBM, beat Garry Kasparov in chess, I remember my dad saying, this is the end of chess, and no one's going to play it again. But then it turned out that actually, although the AI was better than humans, AI plus a human together was way better than an AI or the human. You know, the AI would present 10 options, and the human would pick the best one or something like that and play the move. And everybody said, oh, we have this wonderful future of man and machine together. It's all no problem, whatever. That lasted 2 months, 3 months, something like that. And then the AI got so smart that the human only made it worse because they didn't understand what was really going on, and the AI alone trounced the AI and human. It's been like that ever since. Now, another interesting part of that story is everybody was convinced in the 90s that was the end of chess, because if AI could beat humans, why should humans care? Chess has never been more popular than it is today. People love to watch chess. We're very focused on real people doing like real people things. So there was like a very interesting thing that happened there. But this phenomenon, I think, is a really big deal.
I think that the popularity of it is because people want to. We've advanced technology to where we can bring it to more people, right? We've popularized chess. I have always played chess. I was always going to play it in person. But see, that's the thing, is to play it in person. There's been more people that have been disqualified because they are using some form of a program or AI in order to inform them on how it is that they're supposed to move. So what you're also seeing is a bigger gap between the people that actually care about chess versus the people that want to capitalize off of it. On one end, you have the people that actually value the in-person interactions, and they're moving more towards that. On the other end, you have people that, if I go on the chess.com app, I don't know if he got another computer up and he's running a simulation of every move that I make so that he can show that he's better than me, and he's actually using AI or he's using a program and he's just moving according to whatever it is that that the program is telling him to move. You see what I'm saying? So now the problem is, even if you're playing a human, you don't know if you're playing somebody that's using a program. And this is the problem, is that we become so disconnected. We become so stupid that instead of us using it in order to help us improve, to practice against, to create technology to bring us closer together, what we're using it for is nefarious ways, like we always do. And it's the same thing with the internet. The internet was supposed to be a place where we can come together and it makes us more closer. We can get better products. But the internet was never supposed to kill brick and mortar stores. This next story that I'm going to talk to you guys about, for example, and it's the whole Oak Bluff collection from Ralph Lauren. It's funny that we leading into this, and I'm going to go straight into it, and then I'm going to read Super Chat shortly. It's funny that we're leading into it because when I looked at it online, my first inclination is to order it. But then I'm looking at it online, and I realized, for me personally, because I am a kid that was raised in the 90s, born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, that I actually want to go and see it in person. I can watch basketball on TV. It's awesome when I do it, but it's nothing like actually seeing the people in person and interacting. And so I think that the real luxury is going to come, in my opinion, where people are going to spend a majority of the money, is the thing that we were trying to get rid of. And it's the fact that we were trying to digitize and make things easier and simpler, when I think that the real luxury and where the money is going to be spent is where you actually get real human interaction. I'll deep dive in that in a little bit. Let me just jump straight into this next subject, and then I'm going to read Super Chats. All right. Black people, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people. They are in a tiff with each other. Now, my whites, my Mexicans, my Africans, my Asians, all of y'all, I'm going to give y'all a little bit of history lesson, because y'all may not be familiar with how it is that we move in a culture, but this is very near and dear to my heart, because as I was growing up, I'll say it again for the people in the back, as I was growing up, one of the most popular brands was and still is, and I'm an old school person. Whatever it was that I thought was dope in high school and college, I still hold on to and I still wear to this day. Some people call me crazy because I still wear Coogis. I love Coogis, and I'm always going to rock it because I'm my own individual. And so a lot of us have a story that comes along with Ralph Lauren. Because whether you had polo boots or more recently within the last 10 years, you was wearing the Polo Bear t-shirts and sweaters, the sweaters was a lot more expensive, all right? Or you was like me back in the 90s. I was wearing my older brother's gear and they had all of the polo pullovers and the shirts that was multicolored with the white collars or the flannels, right? And sometimes you had the whole hookup, the boots, the jeans, the shirt, all of that, right? And then you seen Young Dro came out with it and he was making it popular and Big Boy and all of that stuff. And so polo to us, Ralph Lauren to us. You seen Kanye in our sister city over there, Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They was very much ingrained in it. And so it's always been a part of the culture. It has always been a part of the culture. And Ralph Lauren is one of the labels that actually has transcended every single demographic, from people that are white and affluent and black people that are black and affluent to black people that may not be so affluent and other cultures that embrace it, right? And so now what has basically happened is Ralph Lauren first dropped the HBCU collection thing, and it has basically come from a Morehouse graduate, right? Black guy, incredibly awesome, plucked out of Morehouse, came up with the HBCU collection. A lot of y'all seen it. I thought it was incredible. I'm not even a black college graduate or anything like that or HBCU alum, and it was really dope. It was really dope. You said U.S. Polo Association? Man, if you don't get on up out of here, don't ever say U.S. Polo Association. We not doing that. We not doing that. But anyways, my point is that they plucked this guy out in his first collection. He dropped that. It was dope. It was awesome. I even almost bought one. I forgot about it. I should have bought one, but I thought that what he dropped was absolutely incredible. His next season 2 collection, in which he's now a part of the Ralph Lauren family, apparently, his season 2 collection, he dropped the Oak Bluff collection. And it pays homage to the black people and the black community and the cultural heritage that came along with being on Martha's Vineyard, and that black people were largely accepted in that place. And it was a place for black affluent people to really be able to go on vacation over in that space, right? And so it's history. It's a cultural significance while keeping the entire brand aesthetic still with it. I think it's incredibly dope. I looked at it on the site. I'm definitely going to go and get some pieces, but I want to go and see it in person. Neither here nor there. Here's the dilemma between the two. And I'm going to play y'all first one of the ads, and you can go and see the whole 20-minute ad on YouTube from Ralph Lauren. Here's the dilemma. The hood is mad at the designers and Ralph Lauren for not representing the hood when they finally get a designer from an HBCU that is reflecting what the cultural norms are, because some black people are saying, well, everybody wasn't born in the hood, and everybody, even if they were born in the hood, they're not poor no more. And so we want to be represented in a certain light and acknowledging the history. And then you have the people on the other side that are saying, nah, my girl got a girlfriend. And they want to be acknowledged for their hood contributions into the brand and into the culture. So this is one of the ads that are playing across social media, including Instagram and TikTok, of Ralph Lauren and them acknowledging Oak Bluff and the black people there.
Oak Bluffs is home. I was going to say that. Sorry.
It's a little low.
Black people were able to be here, be free, build a community, and that legacy has lived on.
My aunt, she's 90 years old and lives on the island full time. And she was doing her morning walk and she looked over and MLK just did one of those quick hellos.
Being here, it allowed me, like I said, to unburden myself and to be relaxed.
The fact that I get to do that same walk, my friends live on that same street, it's just so cool.
We all still convene here every August, and we're 30 years old now, right? And we've been doing it since we were 2, some of us.
There's joy and grandparents that are relaxing and multi-generational experiences that warm our hearts and make it hard for everybody to go home when they have to.
complete this sentence and include the whole sentence. Oak Bluffs is.
I would say simply that Oak Bluffs is special. It's important.
So, Ralph Lauren, I thought that they did an incredible job with this new campaign, and I think that it's going to be incredibly successful. But everybody is not happy about it. Everybody is not happy about it. Let the hood speak for it, and this is what they have to say, and this is what they're saying.
Black elitism got to get the fuck the same way white supremacy does. I don't give a fuck how you present it to me. I don't care. James Jeter just
Ignore the do-rag on the head. We're going to continue.
dropped his second collection with Polo Ralph Lauren. The first one, Morehouse and Spelman, HBCUs were the craze. Totally get it. That was a layup. I understand. Now we're in, the second collection is based off of Oak Bluff. The only section in Martha's Vineyard where black people could gather and do their thing. Cool. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I do not want a black all-American story when it comes to Polo Ralph Lauren, because that is not how we and people who look like me have engaged with Polo Ralph Lauren. It's never been about some elite bourgeoisie shit. We stole that shit. Like the things that you are creating, the things that you're trying to create, the things that, oh, like this is black excellence or black elite or whatever, we stole that shit. That is not how we engage with Polo Ralph Lauren. And for you, and while I feel like you are overly qualified to sit at the seat as creative director, you must tell these people, if you are going to leverage my blackness to help your company, we have to do it how black people have done it. At some point, you got to recognize the lowlifes. At some point, you got to recognize these other groups of people who look like us, how we were. It was a rebel for us to wear these things. It was a rebellion to the American dream, to the all-American standard. We stole that shit. And for us who are using our dollar to buy polo, at best we're talking about a Macy's Dillard level, and for most of us, it's a Marshalls and Ross level. You have to, if you are going to sit at the creative director seat, you got to understand, like, the access is at that Macy's Dillard level and down. We gonna steal that shit up there. That $600 jacket, the booster's back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this like to promote, you know what I'm saying, nefarious behavior and shenanigans. I'm saying it because that's how we engage with this shit. We did not engage with this shit on some like, oh, like, we don't give a fuck. Like, none of that shit is what we give a fuck about.
So, the hood wants to be acknowledged, and saying it without saying it, they saying that they want to steal it so that they can then justify wearing something that they can't afford. And this is the problem with the culture, is that we can never just be what it is that we're supposed to be, and somehow they want the hood to be acknowledged. Let me say this. Ralph Lauren was never made for the hood. It was made for people that appreciated the style, design, the simplistic nature of it, the cultural heritage, innovative, while blending the old with the new and creating dope things. The hood got a hold of it because some people could afford it, and then other people decided that they want to steal it because they wanted to be like other people. But let's be clear. Black people are not a monolith. Black people are not a monolith. And here's another woman that basically explains this, about how she feels about this whole hood culture, which is the alternative to what he's saying.
The same black people that are complaining about the Ralph Lauren Oak Bluffs collection are the same ones that would rather their children be athletes than lawyers or doctors. They are the same ones that would celebrate a sexy red but know absolutely nothing about Rhapsody. The same ones that do not realize that a plain Jane Patek or Rolex is worth more than a damn bust down.
Facts.
The idea that somebody like Jay-Z would put down gaudy jewelry and start collecting art because it appreciates more in value, that concept is foreign to them. They literally cannot see past the world that they currently are in. Having black people that are Ivy League or living in affluent communities, that just seems so far from their imagination. Until we realize and recognize that we are not a monolith, we will continue to be our biggest damn enemy.
I will say this. This is what my conclusion is to this whole situation and this whole thing is, all right, I'm going to say this. As you get older, you're supposed to do better. As you get older, you are supposed to do better. Those that know, do better. Those that don't, evolve, learn, and get to the point to where you can do better. Lead a hood to the hood, because you're never going to try to convince, nor are you ever going to even remotely impact them in a way in which they're not going to do whatever it is that they want to do. We just got to separate ourselves. It's no longer about what's wrong with the hood, and it's more or less about what do we need to do as a people that are not N-words, but we are black people, to separate ourselves from the rest. When we go to these places, when you go to Martha's Vineyard, act accordingly. When you do business, do good business, and don't be a representation of what we're used to seeing amongst each other. Allow for yourself to grow. Allow for yourself to evolve. Even if you came from the hood, it doesn't mean that you can't change. It don't mean that you can't evolve. It does not mean that you're supposed to stay ghetto for the rest of your life. I am a man of a certain age at 43 years old that believe that I believe that I've worked hard. I believe I've overcame obstacles. And now it is time for me to live a phenomenal life. I don't want to do the same things that I did when I was 20. I don't want to go back to the hood. I'm not looking to do some of the same stuff that I was doing. I'm looking to live a different type of life amongst a different type of people that can actually appreciate nice things, that can appreciate history, that can also appreciate and celebrate people from all cultures. And even if you just so happen to be black and you create a great aesthetic with the Ralph Lauren brand, I think it's dope and I'm going to celebrate it. I just want to be around people that's like me. I don't want to be around niggas that wear do-rags all the time and record their videos. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I am not interested anymore. And so for those of us that want to continue to evolve, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. Live stream this week. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to drop in there if you guys are interested in going to the West Coast for the next meetup. All right. Time to evolve. Even me as a content creator, I don't want to talk about the same things that I talked about last year. I don't want to talk about the same things that I talked about 2 years ago. Even when I talk about relationships, if you've noticed, I still have the same perspective, but I try to be more solutions oriented than just accountability at this point, because I want to help people and grow past what it is that I was doing last year. And I don't want to be the same person that I was 2 years ago. I don't even want to have the same background. I don't even want to have the same conversations. I want to push. I want to push. I want to push. I want people to be better. I want people to get married. I want people to have great families. I want people to have good times. I want good energy. I don't want that negativity around me. I want to push. I want to push. Time to grow. We too old to still be talking about the same things that we was talking in yesteryear. We passed that. We're in a whole nother space. And it don't mean that we're not going to have hood moments. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But it does not mean that that has to define me, you know? I don't know. Some people get it, some people don't. Let me read some of these super chats, and I got a plane to catch. I'm so happy to be back in the studio, at least for a day. Keep the Epstein list secret, provided leverage. Said reaction. APR. Jalen Hawkins says Elon Musk confirms Tesla has signed a $16.5 billion chip contract with Samsung Electronics. I'll have to cover that tomorrow. 50% Simp says, if a robot fixes a robot, I'm in trouble. Wyatt says, shout out to Tanisha for bringing your name up in our debate. I said, oh, you using cheat codes. Or on that I Choose You tutor, my peripheral is on overtime now. Shout out to Tanisha. We love Tanisha. Self-Made Forever says, sounds like the purge is on the way in real life. Let's be real, AD. Most people won't adapt and job loss is going to be egregious. But that don't have to be us. I don't have to be us. Look, I'm not trying to save everybody. I'm trying to save us. I have a segment of people that I'm tapped in with. I got the bag chasers that I love. And so what my job is to give the information to them, be the first through the door, take my L's, have some successes, give my learned lessons, and give the game. And show people how it is that they can run up a bag. That's my goal. I'm not trying to save the world. I'm trying to make sure that my bag chasers is good. In every way possible. Don't really care about everybody else. I'm just being absolutely honest. Eric Harris says, this speech reminds me of the doctor gave in the movie iRobot before he jumped out of the window. Probably. Wesley Turner says, NYC had a whole polo crew back in the 80s. Yeah, it was different in Detroit also. Corey P says, you should have paid attention. Can't be rocking the 2 men on a horse. Memories. No, U.S. Polo Association, big dog. Chris Cunningham says, not everyone needs a camera. Who raised Buddy? Well, we need him in order to make example of him. We got to show the tail between two different worlds. Tim Stepney says, he make me want to delete some contacts out of my phone, and I don't blame you. AJ Wise says, expecting RL to celebrate criminals is diabolical. Facts. Rush King 19 says, wow, how dare black people be classy? Shout out to my classy black folk. RL is timeless and classic, not hood and ratchet. Facts, and I agree with you. If you got RL from 10, 12 years ago, 20 years ago, you can still rock that today. That's how classic it is. Chris Cunningham says, Milano is a black brand. Why isn't these people promoting these brands, and if they want to promote something so bad? Shout out to Chris Cunningham. Listen, I know the show was a little bit short, but I did give y'all 2. Hopefully I can get back to the 3 tomorrow. But again, I'm in a different location. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest audience on the face of the earth. All right? I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.